This is a sponsored video that contains products provided without charge by the manufacturer for demonstration purposes. All opinions are my own. My son asked me to make him an industrial-looking wall unit in his apartment to use as an entertainment center. And naturally, we turned to Pinterest for design inspiration. And what I did is I went through these with him and took some and stuck them in a board that I called Ideas. And basically what you're looking at here is floating shelves or, shelf brackets made out of pipe are very popular. They're not only strong, but they're easy to build. But one of the things you'll notice here is that the TV is floating. It's attached to the wall and it's floating in the middle of the shelves. So that's kind of the look we were going for. And here's another idea. This one features the pipes going through the shelves. Now, I don't recommend this. I think this is a lot of work to try and get those pipes, to get those holes in the shelves exactly where they need to be, and then assemble all the pipes, and you can't move anything around after the fact. It's like one big unit. Certainly does provide a nice look because you can see the edges of the shelves as opposed to having all the pipe in front of it. But this was the kind of look that my son settled on. And what it really is, he didn't like the look of all the pipes across the front of the boards. He wanted to see the boards more. Now, of course, this design here uses 1x lumber. We decided to go with 2x lumber. 2x10s are what we actually used. And that just makes it twice as thick as this, just makes it even more chunky. But this is a really simple 3-piece design. It just has the flanges attached to the wall with a nipple sticking out of it and a cap on the end. Now, when you're buying the parts to make anything like this, my initial thought was to go to Home Depot. You can buy all these parts on Home Depot. But what I found is they only sell them individually, and unfortunately that's what I did. I wound up buying all the parts from Home Depot, and then after the fact, when I was working on this video, that's when I realized, oh, I'm such an idiot. I should have bought them on Amazon, because you can get them in bulk packs on Amazon, and they cost about half as much. As soon as you buy those, as soon as you put them in your cart, you can see here it says they're frequently bought with a 10-pack of flanges and a 10-pack of the caps. So for $50 times 2, that would have been $100. I think I wound up spending about $200, twice as much. But again, it's not a knock against Home Depot. It's just that Home Depot sells individual pieces. They don't sell them in bulk packs. But if you're looking to do something like this, I'll put a link to these parts right down in the video description. So the primary feature of the wall unit that I'm building here is to mount the TV in the middle of it. And I'm using a wall mount as opposed to letting it sit on the shelf. You could put it on the shelf, but they wanted it to be more floating in the middle of the shelves. And to do that, you also want a mount that will pull out from the wall. They call that an articulating wall mount. And that enables you to get to the wires and make connections and whatnot, and then push it back when you want to. But this is the one that I went with. It's the Mounting Dream 2380. This is really pretty inexpensive for a full motion mount. This was only $40 on Amazon. I'll put a link to it in the video description below. Now in this situation where things are being attached directly to the wall, you need them to be as straight as possible. And so I'm leveraging my laser level here that I bought when I was doing the tiling in my master bath project. Costs about $30 on Amazon, and it is the best way. It strikes a line in both directions, perfectly level and plumb. So that's how I got these things as straight as possible. After the flanges are attached, you just screw the nipples in and then a cap on each one of them as well. It's that easy. Now for the shelves, we used 2x10 Douglas fir framing lumber. We got the straightest ones we could, lightly sanded, stained them with a walnut stain, and then cut them to length for the 2 shelves on each side, and then we had 3 long shelves that went the entire length of the unit. Let's take a look at what it looks like. It does come with a nice HDMI cable. This is a fiber wrapped cable. That's always a nice thing to see. Ton of hardware for various different types of televisions. All right, this is the mount itself. I have it pulled out, as you can see. This one goes up to a 16-inch on center, so if you are mounting this on your wall, it assumes you're going to have wood studs. You can use it with cement too, but or whatever kind of block walls you might have, but this one goes up to 16 inches if that's what you have wood framing. In my situation, I have a stud right here, so I'm not going to be able to attach it, no problem. So as long as you've got a stud somewhere along this. The only time you'd really have to worry is if you have 24-inch center studs, and then you're just going to have to figure out where you want to put it, and if there is no stud there, you can get a wider one. They do come for 24-inch framing as well. So you attach these to your television, and these work up to a 400 by 400 VESA standard. That's VESA. And what that means is it's 400 millimeters from here to here and from here to here. So depending upon your TV, you can see what the spacing is, and as long as it's less than or equal to 400 in both directions, this mount should work for it. The next thing I was doing here was deciding how high the mount comes in relation to the back of the TV. And from that, I can then mark on the wall. With my stud finder, I found where that center stud was that I was going to use to attach the mount. Then I used that previous measurement to mark a line on the wall exactly where I wanted the top of the mount to be. The kit comes with a mounting template that you can put this little bullet level on, and that enabled me to hold it exactly where I wanted it. I used a scratch awl to just mark a couple of holes in the wall, then drilled full pilot holes into the framing behind it. And used these two long bolts that also have screw heads on them, and I was able to use my impact driver to get them going most of the way. But to really tighten them down for good, I had to use a socket wrench, and I used the little level that they included to make sure that it was perfectly straight. Next, my son and I attached the TV to the mount, and there are two screws in the back, retaining screws, that hold it tightly to the mount itself. And you can see how it can be pushed against the wall or pulled out anytime you want to. Now, there are probably a lot of different ways to attach the shelves to the pipes, but what we chose to do is we took these pipe straps and we painted them black with the screws as well. We painted the screw heads black so that they would kind of be invisible. And I attached one on each one of the pipes, alternating from the front to the back, just to keep the shelves in place nice and tight. And here you can see what it looks like. I mean, it's a work in progress. They don't have all their stuff on it and the wires aren't hidden yet, but this is what the look he was going for. My son is also a fanatic with Philips Hue lights, so he had a strip that we put on the back of the mount, and we just held it on with a couple of binder clips, and it just provides really nice accent lighting from behind the TV, and he has tons of them that are going to be all over this apartment. What does Valar Doharis mean?
All men must die and all men must serve.
Ride right up on them. They never get a chance to do their stuff. There they are. Swing.
Yeah.
That was everybody.
That was her biggest army